Coming up, we've worked hard to bring you another great episode. You know what would make my day? If you listen, yes, but you can really make me smile by subscribing. You can go to offthenose.com or on whatever platform you're using right now. They all have that little subscribe button. Go there right now, click that, and boom, happy Kelly. If that's not enough, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Insta and Twitter. You can share the episode with your friends or colleagues. So many options to show your love. But let's just start simple and subscribe today, right now. Don't put it off. You guys rock. On today's episode, we have Jack Forman, president of Bicoastal Productions. Bicoastal Productions is one of the largest New York-based concert and theater talent booking agencies. Yes, so wait till you hear this incredibly insightful conversation. What is the state of the entertainment industry? Are agents like Jack and his company even needed? We see artists going direct now. We see virtual concerts. Is that what the future holds? What's happening to venues across America? We are going to hear it all with Jack. And I got him to reveal what they've been talking about in those whiteboard blue sky meetings. And there are some pretty off the nose, cool things coming our way when it comes to entertainment. Join me for my conversation with Jack Forman. Let's go.
Gotta get it how it goes now. You gotta take it off the nose. It's off the nose. Gotta get back in control now. Let's stop believing in ourselves. It's off the nose.
Let's jump in. I am super excited to talk to you because the state of everything going on right now, as the president of Bicoastal Productions, and you're out booking talent, and you are certainly in the know as it relates to what's going on in the entertainment industry and how our world is so changed, possibly forever. And I see a lot of good in that. With more creativity, maybe we need less of what we thought in terms of what it takes to put on a damn good production. I mean, hello, Jimmy Fallon. So I want to toss it to you and just sort of get, of course we want to know about you, but let's start and just what are you feeling right now? What are you seeing?
Well, you know what? To be very honest with you, I've started to thankfully look at the glass as a little bit more half full. In the beginning, it was very hard for anybody in our industry to look at things without immense depression and immense fear, especially for those of us, who have families of our own, who have artists that are counting on a great year to sustain their own lives. So it was definitely difficult at first, but through everything that's come out, especially all the innovations in tech and in arts, I mean, it's really paved the way for a lot more opportunity for people in my industry to see a light at the end of the tunnel, especially when it comes to streaming and other kinds of digital media.
Right. So you sort of have rode the wave, if you will. I mean, you were part therapist through some of this, I would imagine. I don't know if you personally saw layoffs and things like that. I know, most everybody has taken a hit of some sort, but are we around the bend? Can you see what post-corona entertainment looks like?
Well, it's hard to say for sure. We're definitely not around the bend quite yet. However, we are starting to see glimmers of what the new world will look like. I think it's a little bit naive of us to think that we'll have any kind of normalcy like we had pre-pandemic in the new world. I think we will see a return of live concerts at full capacity. However, I do think they will look different. Newer safety measures will be in place. Newer means of consuming the entertainment will be in place for all kinds of entertainment. I mean, you're going to start seeing a virtual concert ticket as an option when you're buying a ticket to your favorite show, rather than just, orchestra, balcony, whichever seating arrangement. You're going to have a fourth or third or whatever option to view it from your couch. So, I mean, that's
wow,
really,
that is cool.
Yeah.
Now, will
Yeah, I
that
mean
be,
it's
will you
nuts.
go as far as to create virtual rooms, if you will, virtual
Yeah.
parties for people? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're already booking virtual shows like crazy. I mean, there's all these platforms out there that allow for it to be done very easily, and the technology has become more and more elementary. Where if you're an artist, a musician of any kind who's never really experimented with streaming or OTT broadcast of any kind, you can still figure it out pretty easily within a day or two, just to get your show up and to ticket it, honestly. And you can go live from anywhere. But to be very honest with you, a lot of the venues that we work with have turned their venues into makeshift TV studios for the time being so they can keep their staff busy, where all of a sudden their stage can now become a sound stage for broadcasting live performances or simply recording them for future broadcast. And then as shows come back, those shows are going to be broadcast virtually like we discussed before, via a virtual ticket.
Wow. So it's pretty funny. In the beginning, I might have been a harsh critic as we were watching, the Fallons and the Kimmels and really artists of all kinds figure it out, right?
Yeah.
We saw really bad backgrounds. We saw homes that needed a little interior design work. And then not to mention the technology. And so now the word Zoom and Insta Live and everything is rolling off everybody's tongues. But have you found yourself and your company in the position of tech expert and home studio builders and answering things like that?
Yeah, and it's kind of nuts because as agents, you're not really worried about as much of the tech and production and creativity of a production that goes in, or simply
Right.
the tech that goes into simple meeting like you and I are having right now over Zoom. I mean, you never used to think like that, but now, the founders of the company who are 75 and 70 could probably teach a seminar on Zoom and getting things set up for green screens and everything like that, because the pandemic has forced them, and they're, thankfully they're always on the right edge of progress with wanting to stay in line with it. But, when it comes to the streaming element for our artists and for our venues and things like that, I've had to overnight digest a year's worth or 10 years worth of information about streaming and terminology that I never even imagined. I'm definitely not an expert in it, but I do know my way around it to be able to successfully pitch it to somebody and explain what we're working with. And this was not my area of study. I'm more the guy that can walk you through a booking contract or talk to you about marketing a show. But all of a sudden, I know streaming and I know OBS and all kinds of technical social media types of platforms that never was playing with before.
But see, that's where in all adversity, there is opportunity, right? And so you personally are a better person. You have a deeper skill set. All the artists have learned to grow. Have you come up across people that, just can't embrace the change? They just can't do it, and they've just shut down?
Yeah, sadly. I mean, there's always going to be those who are just from day one on the edge of progress, and then those who are just clinging to the past. And it's okay to cling to the past, in my opinion, because that's really, a lot of us were so comfortable and we took a lot of things for granted. And there are certain parts of the country that are still holding off hope that things are going to return a lot sooner than they would anywhere else. And I really hope that everybody is right with what they believe in some shape or form. But I've seen quite a few people say to me, we're definitely not ever going to do virtual concerts. We're not doing drive-ins. We're a theater, damn it. We're not going to do anything but. And we say, okay, well, you know what? Hopefully you're able to keep your staff employed, or, keep your lights on, or your AC running all these months, because your building's going to be empty. It's going to be something. Yeah.
It's really crazy, right? Because you see that, I think in the beginning, as an artist, a master of their craft, somewhat like you see a chef in a restaurant who doesn't want you to change the dish, right? And I'm a Meg Ryan. I'm changing every dish. And so a master of their craft, I think it would be challenging to accept less than perfect audio and visual environment to represent themselves. So I'm sure that was a big part of it. Do you see, let's call it perfect technology? I mean, can you see a nearly as good as in person from a technology standpoint?
No, I don't think it will be. I mean, we'll get more and more close to it, and we're flirting with it with each piece of technology that comes out. I mean, technically you're getting closer with virtual reality experiences, but even so, that's not anywhere near what you get at a real show. And I think that nothing will ever replace that. It's just going to be about new ways of consuming that entertainment. What's interesting about all the studies and data that's come out during the pandemic is that it's proven that more people have conditioned themselves to consume entertainment virtually than ever before. I mean, that's an obvious one, but what was amazing to me was the numbers that showed, 55-year-olds and older, how they were consuming virtual programming. And I was shocked because a lot of them were really buying into it and engaging with it over time. So as things get better, you're still going to have a population that's been conditioned to consume their entertainment in any shape or form that way. And that's what's going to allow for it to still be a viable means in the future, especially for ticketing events, whether it's music, theater, or sports even. I mean, with the bubble sports, some of them are doing better than others, and some of them are failing miserably.
Mm-hmm. That is shocking, isn't it? I guess with a choice, the older population said, hell no, don't need it. But now they don't see a choice because it's obviously a pandemic affecting them the most. And so, yeah, I mean, my parents and friends' parents are busier than I ever was in all these, events and happy hours and all the stuff they're going to when they couldn't even, check their email. So that's great. Yeah. That's great for the industry, right? Is this
great for all industries? Yeah.
Great for all industries. Is this a opportunity? Sometimes the companies like Bicoastal can get in here at times like this and really knock out the big machines, if you will, that aren't as agile, that can't figure it out as quickly as do you see opportunity for your company from that perspective?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't see it as, I look at competition in my industry very differently than a lot of people do. I don't see us as knocking out CAA, William Morris, Paradigm with anything we're doing. I see us continuing to stay alive, however, and changing the way that we serve our clients and the people that we are booking shows with. By partnering with streaming services from the get-go, months and months ago, where we were having conversations with these tech developers, by having the conversations then and by really buying into it early, and then having that from the get-go of talking to venues and talking to promoters and saying, look, things are not going to get back to normal anytime soon, but let's look at this as half full. Let's see the other opportunities here. So here are these options, and let me walk you through it right away. When I hang up with you, I'm actually going to be talking to a group of venues in Idaho, of all places, about turning their season into a whole virtual season of shows. And I'm going to be walking them through the tech of that. Again, something I never used to do.
The tech, I got to add that to your credentials here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really given us an edge. But then again, a lot of agencies are adapting to that at this point. But at the start of the pandemic, we ended up partnering with two very unique tech platforms that were very, very ahead of their time. One of which is actually the technology that fans are using to literally cheer into their phones or computers and have it be heard on ESPN when they're watching their sports.
Oh my God! Seriously,
we're working with that. Yeah, we're working with that now to try to get that in theaters.
Quickly. This fake fan thing, I can't even take it. I can't watch. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And I heard Joe Rogan say that fake engine sounds are put into BMWs. So the whole thing needs to go away. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. So stuff like that we were never doing before. So who knows? Maybe booking shows and representing artists will only be a part of what we do. We may expand into other horizons. I mean, that's one of the things that I was tasked with, in my promotion to president recently. I knew that this is where I want to take it. And this has been the plan for a lot of years, is to continue to expand into other markets and other areas of business for us, not only to serve our current clients, but to serve more and more clients as we grow our business.
Sure. I mean, absolutely. Again, back to opportunity. Does the venue become less important and the technology and mastering the sound more important? And so why does the venue matter anymore?
That's a very good question, because that's also the same question about what does the agent matter if the artists can do it all themselves.
I didn't want to say that, Jack, but yeah.
No, it's the elephant in the room, and I've been thinking about that like crazy. And the easy answer, because you and I could spend 6 hours and I could try to make my case as to why I'm still important. I do that every day with my wife to try to show her why I'm still important around the house.
Flowers and chocolates, Jack. Come on.
Yes. So, I mean, the honest truth is that an artist cannot be everywhere, but what can be everywhere, and you can count on it, is your local venue. Your local venue in your town is a place where you have gotten used to consuming great entertainment of some kind, whether it's a theater, a club, a bar, a coffee shop, whatever it may be. They have that reach to you in your small town in the middle of nowhere, wherever you may be, that an artist who lives in New York or Dubai, honestly, may not be able to reach you. So if you're partnering with a local venue to stream your show and doing it kind of like a tour where you're partnering with the venue in Seattle and then one down in Portland and then one down in San Francisco, like you would go on a usual tour, you're actually allowing those venues to reach out to their core audience who's buying tickets every single show, and the artist is tapping into that and they're just sharing in the profits of that. But it's a great business model that's proven to already work, with all the rescheduled shows especially. But nothing reaches a local population like a venue does. I mean, unless you're a TikTok or an Instagram superstar with proven global numbers, but if you're just a normal artist, you still need to rely on venues with local reach, because they've spent years cultivating that.
I see. You can't just knock that out so quickly. So you're the biggest acts in the world could perhaps do that? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, are venues getting creative? And I know money is tight. Are they getting creative? Before the show, are you doing, tours and, video montages of the place, like trying to get people to feel like they're there, right? I mean, obviously there's Madison Square Garden and there's the big boys that that's different. I'm talking about your local joints that could potentially be out of business. So how are they getting creative?
Well, there's lots of different ways, and a lot of them have shown some incredibly creative and quirky ideas where it may have been cute once and then failed, but at least it's something. For instance, remind me where you're located. What city?
Sarasota, Florida.
Sarasota. Okay, so you've
Near
got a
Tampa.
venue you've got a venue in your town called the Van Wezel Performing Arts Center.
That's right.
And we do business with them. We're very, very blessed too. They're a great venue. So you recognize that venue being a local to Sarasota. You'd recognize the architecture of it. You'd recognize the inside of it, especially if you were one of the subscribers. Chances are their subscriber base is, yeah. Okay. So there you go. So you're used to getting their emails. You're used to getting all their stuff, and it's branded for them. It's not just something that goes out into the entire industry of entertainment. It's branded for Sarasota locals, people who've been supporting the venue for years. They're going to turn their broadcasts into shows that resemble as close as possible the experience of walking into the Van Wezel as you normally would. They may have similar designs like you would see in the venue. They may have similar advertising. They may even have a partnership with a local restaurant where you can order food that's somehow tie in with the theme of the show. I don't really know. There's been a lot of different things, but maybe the marquee of the live show when you're logging on to see it looks a lot like it. It could be just about anything. But a lot of it also has to do with the add-ons that people are offering with these shows, like extra VIP packages where you may be able to actually gain access to a private meet and greet over Zoom with the artist after the show.
Oh, that's
a little
cool.
bit extra. Or you'll get a t-shirt that says, Van Wezel supporter or something like that. All kinds of different things and options that you can really play with. And artists really don't have to pay much extra for that. How much does it cost you to go on Zoom for 5 minutes after the show? Nothing.
I know, right?
But you could charge $100 for that. And
sure.
A
give it to
superfan's
charity, whatever. Sure.
Right.
Sure. So, what is your sense from artists? Are they still liking the normal process, the normal flow? Are you seeing people try to do things on their own? What are you seeing?
Some of them are embracing it and really getting creative with the streaming and with the new media that's out there. And some are waiting it out, especially the artists that had the means to do so. I mean, we have artists on our roster that have made quite decent careers for themselves over the years. And right now they're okay with taking a year or two to just kind of sit and maybe make some new music, and they have the money to support themselves. Whereas some of the up and coming artists are really scrambling, and even some of the older artists are scrambling to get back out there via streaming or via drive-ins. At a local level, there's a lot going on depending on where you are. Right now I'm set up on the Jersey Shore, but down the street from me, there's a racetrack where they do horse races. Usually they set up a drive-in there where they had like Jim Gaffigan and Southside Johnny come do shows, and everybody turned up and they sold out.
Sure.
So that was an opportunity at a local level for me, if I had an artist say that was based out here, that could have been an easy booking. There's really all kinds of stuff that you can do. But at the end of the day, we needed to get back to semi-normal to really feel good about it, because there's nothing that will ever compare to that live in-person show.
I know. It can be really disheartening to think that, we will never. You started the show and said we will, eventually. I don't know. I think we will always probably wear masks. It might look different. We're going to wash our hands different. We're going to have signs and measures about different things. And I don't know that that's all bad, but I like the creativity that's come from a lot of artists. I think that's pretty cool that, they don't need 100 people to find that creativity. And then some people that I thought were super funny, whether it's comedians or they've sort of let me down. It's like, wow, they really need their whole, the whole group with them, or they're not very funny. Have you seen the same thing?
Yeah, comedians have had the hardest time, honestly.
Yeah.
And that was a core group I wanted to reach with this platform that we're working with the cheering, because it could work the same way with laughter. I mean, it's in real time. That's something that a lot of comics were suffering with from the beginning, was not having that interaction over Zoom, which you lose.
Sure.
Which, is hard when you're playing off the audience heavily.
And a lot of them work differently, but many try out new material by the reaction of the audience, right? And then that might turn into a Netflix show, or that might turn into a bigger tour. So it's not just for the ego, is I guess what I'm saying. It truly is to help them develop their show. Yeah,
there's some artists that have done it the wrong way, where they'll just kind of do it sporadically. It needs to be like clockwork going live. I mean, you need to have it scheduled. You need to do it regularly at the same time. There's so much that goes into it, and it's a new skill. And luckily we have millennials and kids to teach us how, because they're all experts at it.
Thank God.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I agree. There's a lot of opportunity there for them now. Staying on the comedy route, all of the tragic incidents that added on to the pandemic, as if we needed more, which has also created more opportunity, more conversation. But wow, did I have empathy for comedians, because now it's challenging to know what is funny and what can I say and who am I offending, because before, comedy wasn't in that box. They didn't have the same rules. What are you seeing and hearing on that front?
It's the same thing no matter what public figure you are at the end of the day. I mean, comics always had a little bit of extra stretching room because of the nature of their work. Most of them didn't apologize for things unless it was really a blatant, horrible thing they said, back then. But now there's an oversensitivity of it that a lot of people are having trouble with. And a lot of artists are literally having to check their work as if it were a college writing assignment And literally that could be something as simple as a Facebook post where they have to run it by their publicist to literally 2020 proof their content to make sure that not one person could get offended by it. I was on a call this morning where I was talking to people. I was like, we have to make sure that is not possibly beyond a shadow of a doubt construed as insensitive to this group. And the people I was on with were like, Evel Knievel couldn't make that leap. And I said, you'd be surprised. I guarantee you there's like a little tween somewhere that's going to say that's offensive. I take offense to that. So you cannot be too careful, and you just gotta embrace it, because it is coming from a good place. It's coming from the fact that there's a lot of things that used to be said that would hurt a lot of people that would go unnoticed, and now there's a voice, which I respect and I think is great. But
I agree. At
the same time, there's a lot of people who do things innocently without realizing, and then they apologize profusely, and it's still too late.
Is there a new 101 to comedy? I mean, honestly, I'm saying it half kidding, because it's like, what can you say? Or is it okay to stay within your own race? I can make fun of my own race, but I can't, make fun of another race anymore. Or, what are the rules? What are people talking about within the entertainment industry?
To be honest with you, I've stayed farther away from the conversation of inputting my own opinions on things, largely because I tend to stay pretty neutral, and I always try to favor what's right and favor the artists. I think that there is no 101, unfortunately. You just have to stay involved with what people are hurt by, who your audience is. There's sometimes that you just don't need to care. If you're a certain comedian who's been doing it for so long, where people know that of you, they expect you to be offensive and hurtful.
They trust you. They know who you are as a person, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So with comedy, it's hard, but with every other area of creativity, you can never be too careful. The best thing to do is to ask questions, is to run it by people first, to make sure that, if you think it could hurt somebody, if you have the slightest idea, it's better to ask a peer or somebody else, what do you think of this? Because it's always best in any part of this to run it past somebody else's eyes. I mean, I always do, but
yeah, with social media, it's hard. I mean, you're always going to find somebody offended, but it can blow up so big. It's kind of crazy. On the diversity theme, are you at Bicoastal finding opportunities to create more diverse shows, tours, collaborations? Is there an actual effort, a specific strategy for you on that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we've really seen a large uptick of that in our industry, and we've heard the call, and it's become a very important mission to us to try to embrace that kind of programming and make it something that we sell more often than just oh, by the way. We have several different shows that we've invested a lot more time and energy into the production of that surround areas such as diversity, development, Black culture specifically, and these shows are just incredible. One of them we've been working with for many years, but another one we've actually just started in the early development stages of, and it should be ready by the time it comes to book it for 21-22. It's been really special to be a part of it for us. We always have welcomed diversity on our staff and on our roster more than anything, because it keeps us relevant. It keeps us passionate about what we do, because there is a mission beyond just making a lot of money to doing what we do. If I really wanted to make a ton of money, I would have done something very, very different than what
Well, it's yes, it's the right thing to do, and we should all grow and from that perspective, but also you're just putting out better product because you're getting the perspective from lots of different walks of life.
Right. Yeah, and you better listen, or else you're going to go obsolete.
That's absolutely true. That's probably on a t-shirt somewhere. So Jack, your story, because on Off the Nose, we'd like to highlight, celebrate, if you will, the path, how you got into what you do. You pretty much jumped right in after college. I think you were with a record company and you did the internships, which is very kind of standard to get into this business. And then you rapidly moved up to where you are now as president of Bicoastal. So talk to me about, because, the kids right now, they're really feeling it's a lost generation. I am so sad for these guys and what they're trying to deal with, and they're trying to find normalcy, and job opportunities are less. What would you say to kids out there that want to go into this business right now?
The world may be changing, but hard work is the same as it was 100 years ago, especially in what we do. The same fundamentals and values that guys like William Morris and Michael Ovitz had when they were founding WME and CAA. I mean, obviously not WME back then, William Morris, but they've stayed the same. That idea of hard work, organization, and paying your dues are as much the same as they were 100 years ago as they are in 2020. I mean, as it was when people were booking big bands into now where they're booking DJs for festivals. It's the same fundamentals, and people take notice of hard work, and networking has never been more important because people are a lot more apt. And I can't emphasize this enough that, well, it's important to get a great degree from a great college. Your experiences and the people you know are going to do so much more for you in entertainment than a good degree and extracurriculars could ever do for you.
You are seeing more of that. And I would think especially, or highlighted in this industry, more specialized education, the 4-year liberal arts isn't really doing it for kids. The cost, we're going to see a lot of colleges go out of business. To get in this field, if you show up at someone's door and you've had an internship, what is really required? Who would you hire?
I want people who I want to spend 8 hours a day with.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, honestly, no, 8 hours a day is wrong. I want people that I can spend 8 hours a day with, and then call to spend the 9th and 10th hour with if need be. I want people who are not looking at the clock. Yep. Because this is a 24-hour business. You're representing an artist, and you're basically handling and caring for their life's work. I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten at 2 a.m. from an artist saying, hey, I'm at the venue and I'm having an issue with the promoter, or something's going on, or I'm in Australia right now and I'm having trouble at customs. All kinds of stuff will happen. And you want the people who will heed the call, if you will, at any time of day, any day of the week, just because they are passionate about booking shows and about developing artists. You want people who are looking up at the stage and proud to say, we did that. We got the artist there.
Yeah, so you're all in it. Right. Yeah. And you feel like today, even with Corona, even with, equality issues, it's still the best job, and you're excited about the industry?
I am. I mean, it feels like home for me. I wouldn't recommend doing anything related to what we do to a lot of people. We have a 15-month-old daughter here, and I'm going to do whatever I can, even from this early age, to make sure she probably stays far away from this industry. It's
why does everybody say that?
I don't know. It has the potential of being wonderful, making all your dreams come true, but it also has every capability of just absolutely slaughtering everything you believe in and all your dreams. And I've seen both sides.
Cutthroat, right?
It's definitely cutthroat. It's always going to be cutthroat. And then there's also a lot of great people that have changed the way we do things. But I think that it's a great job if it's something that you absolutely need to do. I needed to do this. There was no other option for me. It was become an entertainment professional, and eventually it was become an agent at all costs. And I really haven't looked back, but like I said, I wouldn't recommend it to everybody because there's a lot of parts of it that are a lot less glamorous than you'd ever imagine.
Than you'd think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some cleanup there. And I'm sure you've got some artists that can be 15-year-old acting grown men and women who act like 15-month-olds.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Thankfully, a lot of my artists are great, wonderful people who value hard work and value creativity over being a diva. But
Jack, I was going to ask you to name names. Come on.
I won't name names of my own artists, but I'll name if you have a few drinks, I'll name artists that I've worked with in the past. That you may be aware of.
That are with another agency.
Yeah. Other agents, it's fair game. But no, honestly, I try not to mudsling. I really don't want to. And believe me, there's some people out there who would blow your mind.
Yeah, I bet. I really have enjoyed getting to know more about the industry. What you gave us a couple ideas, which blew my mind. Any other, leave us with, hey, wait till you see this kind of venue, or hey, wait till you see what this kind of collaboration you're going to see in the future. Maybe you don't even have it done, but it's on the whiteboard. Tease us.
Look out for the hybrid venue, because it's coming, and it's coming to a city near you. And I say that jokingly because it's already in a city near you. Your favorite venue is going to change forever, or it's going to go obsolete, especially if they don't get the congressional aid that they desperately need. But you're going to be able to consume entertainment in so many new different ways within the next 2 years. Pandemic or not, the innovations are, the pedal on innovation was pressed down immensely during the pandemic. And it was a creative incubator for so many people that the way we consume entertainment is going to change like crazy. The artists that are going to be making themselves more and more available to you to get to know personally via all kinds of new platforms and methods, that's about to become just blown out of proportion.
Wow. That's exciting. So I guess figuring out how to monetize all that on your end.
Yeah, there's already ways. I mean, there's already ways of making sure that you're getting what you deserve and giving people what they need. But at the same time, you can't be too greedy, because most of the people, I'm sure you and I both know, have either lost their jobs or are now only getting them back. So.
Yep. Okay, Jack Forman, president of Bicoastal Productions. Thank you for the insight. Wish you guys much success.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate you having me on.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye now.
Better change up your perspective. It's something new.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Remember our little talk before the show? Yep. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, share, all that jazz. It matters, people. You matter. Thanks again for listening. See you soon.